the political meltdown that broke the internet. You're watching live television, and suddenly, one of America's most confident political spokespersons literally faints on camera after being completely destroyed by facts. Sounds like fiction? Well, buckle up, because what happened on that cold December night in 2025 became the most viral political moment in modern history. So there's Karoline, right? 27 years old, brilliant, and absolutely fearless when it comes to political debates. She's built her entire career defending her boss with the kind of passion that made even her allies raise their eyebrows. Picture someone who's never lost a public debate, someone who walks into every studio like they own the place. That was Karoline. Now, here's where it gets interesting. She's sitting in that familiar studio, adjusting her red blazer, completely confident about tonight's show. The topic? American foreign policy in Africa. Sounds boring, right? Wrong. Because what Karoline didn't know was that she was about to face Ibrahim, the 36-year-old president of Burkina Faso, who had done his homework like nobody's business. The cameras roll, and Karoline starts with her usual playbook. You know the drill, talking about extraordinary leadership, solid partnerships, real economic development. All those buzzwords that sound impressive, but, well, you'll see where this goes. Ibrahim, watching from thousands of miles away, just raises an eyebrow. This guy had been preparing for this moment, and he came loaded with something Karoline wasn't expecting: cold, hard facts. Then comes the first question that changes everything. Ibrahim asks, and I'm paraphrasing here, what billions specifically and which countries? Simple question, right? But Karoline suddenly realizes she's in trouble. Her briefings focused on talking points, not actual data. She tries to mention some programs, but Ibrahim calmly corrects her. Turns out, the programs she's talking about were actually established by a previous administration and were actually reduced during the period she's defending. First hit landed. Now, Karoline's sweating, but she's still fighting. She pivots to business partnerships and trade deals. Surely that's safer ground, right? Wrong again. Ibrahim hits her with another devastating question about bilateral trade agreements. The answer? Zero. Absolutely zero new trade agreements. Zero direct investments. And here's the kicker: foreign aid was actually cut by 36%. Imagine being told you created partnerships when you actually reduced them. But wait, it gets worse. Karoline tries to talk about bringing stability to the region. Ibrahim doesn't just disagree, he brings out the receipts. 7 military coups in 4 years. 7. More than any equivalent period since the 1980s. At this point, you can see Karoline is visibly uncomfortable. So she does what desperate debaters do: she goes for a personal attack. She brings up how Ibrahim came to power through a military coup, thinking she's found her gotcha moment. Big mistake. Huge. Ibrahim doesn't get angry. He smiles. Not a friendly smile, but the smile of someone who's about to deliver a knockout punch. He starts talking about democratic legitimacy, and suddenly Karoline realizes she's opened the worst possible door. Here's a guy who took power to protect his people from terrorists, organized free elections in 18 months, and won with 67% of the vote. Meanwhile, the person Karoline is defending lost by 7 million votes and tried to overturn a legitimate election. The irony is devastating. Karoline, representing someone who tried to stay in power after losing, is questioning the democratic legitimacy of someone who actually won their election fair and square. But Ibrahim isn't done. He gets up, walks to his bookshelf, and starts pulling out documents. This is where it gets really brutal. He starts listing specific facts about how Karoline's boss completely ignored African countries during his presidency. We're talking about times when Burkina Faso faced its worst humanitarian crisis. Terrorist attacks, hundreds of thousands of refugees, people dying, and the response was nothing. Zero mentions in public speeches. Zero humanitarian aid offers. Zero returned phone calls from African leaders begging for help. Instead, there were 307 days spent playing golf. Think about that for a second. Enough time to visit every African country twice, but instead, it was spent on personal recreation. And the cost? $142 million in taxpayer money for personal trips. That's enough to vaccinate an entire country's population, but it went to personal luxury instead. Karoline is visibly falling apart now. Her breathing becomes irregular, her professional composure is cracking, and she can barely form complete sentences. The woman who never lost a debate is being systematically destroyed by facts she can't dispute. Ibrahim, seeing her distress, actually becomes concerned. He asks if she needs medical assistance. But it's too late. The realization that everything she's been defending is built on lies creates an existential crisis her body can't handle. She whispers, "I can't breathe," and then collapses. Right there, on live television, in front of 15 million viewers. The most confident political defender in America literally faints from the weight of truth. The aftermath? Absolutely nuclear. The video hits 50 million views overnight. Social media explodes with reactions. Even people from her own political party start distancing themselves, with some saying, "When you have no facts, you have theatricality. When you don't have theatricality, you have collapse." Karoline's career ends instantly. She disappears from politics completely, taking a quiet corporate job far from cameras and debates. Her boss's approval ratings drop 8 points among his own supporters. Meanwhile, Ibrahim continues running his country normally, but he's established something historic. He's shown that African leaders won't be underestimated or dismissed anymore. The age of political paternalism just died on live television. The most brutal part? Karoline, who built her reputation fighting fake news, was destroyed by real facts. Facts she never bothered to check. Facts that were publicly available but ignored because they didn't fit the narrative. This story isn't just about one debate or one collapse. It's about what happens when political theater meets actual governance. When prepared talking points face documented reality. When loyalty meets truth. It's a reminder that in our age of viral moments and social media politics, substance still matters. Facts still have power. And sometimes the most confident voice in the room is actually the least prepared for real scrutiny. The woman who never lost a debate didn't just lose this one. She literally couldn't handle it. And that moment, broadcast to millions, became a symbol of what happens when political spin meets political reality. So next time you see someone confidently making claims about complex global issues, remember Karoline's story. Sometimes the most passionate defense is just covering up the biggest gaps in knowledge. What do you think? Have you ever seen someone so confident get completely dismantled by facts? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story shocked you as much as it shocked me, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible political moments that changed everything. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.